Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. My plan today was actually to do a live, but I am fighting a chest infection at the moment, so I may well need to pause and cough, and I don't want you to have to hear that. So today I'm going to be making a card. I've got some bits and pieces here. So I've got some Petunia Pop cardstock, some Pretty in Pink cardstock and some Old Olive. I've also got some labels out of the Labels and Layers ephemera pack. I'm going to be using the Country Birdhouse bundle today. So this is the stamp set, and then there are coordinating dies as well. I'm also going to be using the Eyelet 3D embossing folder and the Timber embossing folder as well. Now I have done my embossing already just because my desk is a little bit wobbly, so I've got a little bit of die cutting to do, so you will get a bit of a wobble, but hopefully not so much that you are feeling uncomfortable with it. So I'm going to start off with my Petunia Pop because Petunia Pop is going to be my card base. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut to half a sheet of A4. There. And then get that cutting blade out of the way, and then I'm going to score at 10.5 centimetres. Okay, there's that. And then I will cut my layer. So my layer is going to be Pretty in Pink. I'm going to do a skinny border, so I'm going to cut it to 10 centimetres by 14.3.5. And then I have run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine together with the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. So now my Pretty in Pink cardstock looks like this. So I've got my card base and then my layer, and then I have, because I wanted to get the embossing done, I've stamped the Birdhouse. I've stamped it in copper clay, and then I fussy cut around the edge, because you're not going to, apart from the bit that's coloured here, you're not going to see the edges because I'm going to pop some pieces over the top. So it's stamped in copper clay. I've coloured this section of the image just with the light copper clay Stampin' blend. This one here, it's upside down, sorry. And then I fussy cut around the outside. There is a die for it, and then I die cut the circle for the kind of entrance for the birdhouse. I do need to do a little bit more stamping, so I'm going to be stamping the little bird. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat, because this is a photopolymer stamp, so when you stamp it, because of what it's made of, there isn't really any give. So with a foam stamp or red rubber, you get that little bit of cushioning, which gives you that kind of little bit of a surface to kind of bounce on slightly, so you get a clearer impression. So I'm going to bring in some basic white cardstock, and I've got crumb cake here, so I'm just going to stamp our little bird. I'm actually going to stamp it twice just in case, because you just never know. And then I'm going to close that up quickly before I put my hand in it, because I have done that more times than I care to admit. So I'm going to colour my bird next, I think. So I've got some, so this is my birdhouse, and then my plan is I've got a little bit more of that Petunia Pop cardstock, some Pretty in Pink and my Old Olive, and I'm going to cut the top bit. Oh, I'm missing a die, hang on, it's there. The very top bit and the base in Petunia Pop. Then I'm going to do the frilly kind of edge in the Pretty in Pink, and then that little kind of strip is going to be in Old Olive. So those are the kind of colours that I'm working with. So for our little bird, I've got some blends here. I'm going to bring in my Peach Pie, my Petunia Pop, my Pretty in Pink, and then maybe a little bit of the Ivory and Bronze. I'm not really sure what kind of colourway I'm going to go for, but I'm going to start off with the lovely little beak, which I'm going to do in the Peach Pie. I hope that my head's not in that shot for you. So I'm going to colour them both just in case when I die cut I chop a leg off or something. So I'm going to use the bronze to do the little bird legs. So my plan for the card is just to have the one bird, but like I say, it is entirely possible that when I die cut the bird I will chop off a leg, and if I don't, it just means that I've got a bonus little bird in my stash for another project. Okay, so thinking about colours, I think I'm going to do a brown bird. So I'm actually going to move those colours out of the way, and I'm going to use the ivory and the bronze to colour my bird instead. So I'm going to start with the ivory and just kind of give them a nice light coloured belly, like that. Coming up and across. Maybe just a little hint of that kind of lighter colour on the edge of his wing, and then just maybe all the way across like that, and then I'm going to bring in my bronze. I want the bullet tip though. Whoop. There we go, and I'm just going to colour him in. Nice and speedy, nothing particularly fancy or fussy. Just, it's quite a small image, so there's not kind of too much blending and things that need to happen. Just kind of bring that bronze kind of right down, so it's just kind of the very tips of his wing. I'm not sure I like it. Let's go all the way. There we go. And then just do the same quickly on the other bird. And then we can do some die cutting. So once the kind of blending is done, this is kind of a really quick card to put together, so it'll come together really quickly. So just this one, actually I am going to leave him with his lighter edges. So it's that kind of shape. There we go. Maybe not that top one. There, that's better. Just have that underside. There we go, I'm much happier with that one. Right then. So now I've got a little bit of die cutting to do, so I think it's going to be a bit wobbly, I'm afraid. So let's go with our all brown bird. You can let me know in the comments which bird you preferred. The one where the wing is all one colour, or the one with the kind of lighter edge on the wing. So I've got my bird to die cut, and then the other parts of my birdhouse. So let's just grab my die cutting plates. Now I feel like doing this without washing it is probably a recipe for disaster. So let's just grab a bit of tape and just de-stick it a little bit. So we'll line up the die with our bird. I'm sorry if my head is in shot then. I'll stick that down. These pieces I'm not too worried, but as I'm filming I might actually just give them a little stick down, just so I know that I don't have to do it again, because it happens all the time, especially when I'm filming. So let's pop that one on there. So that's all of my die cutting pieces ready to go. I've got my top plate. I'm just going to move these bits out of the way, and then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So as I said at the start, this is probably going to be a little bit wobbly, but we're doing one run of die cutting and then the wobble should be over. I try really hard not to wobble it, but because of where the camera stand is, and so that I can get my camera in the right position, the stand is just really wobbly. But there we go, all done. Just move that out of the way, and then we can release our die cut pieces. And then very quickly our card will start to take shape. So I'm going to pop my little birdhouse together. And put my layer, my matte layer, onto my card front, so I can get a bit of an idea of where I would like to position my birdhouse. So to put my birdhouse together, I have got various bits of adhesive. So for the kind of bottom tray of my birdhouse, I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. So this card is being hand delivered, so I don't need to worry about doing kind of layers of, I don't need to worry about the kind of the layers and the bulk of the card, because it's not going to go through the postal service. Pop that one on there, and then so the frills is the furthest back, so what I haven't grabbed is any liquid glue. Let me just grab some. Oops. Just bumped the got a little stack of stamps and dies that came in my delivery that I posted recently that are, I've just knocked off my desk. But never mind, I'll pick them up at the end after I've said goodbye to you guys. So I'm just going to stick that frilly bit down like that, and then I can do a tiny bit of touching up if I need to with my light copper clay. Just make sure I've grabbed the light one, and just to get that little white bit on the end. The other side looks fine. Okay, then again with my liquid glue I'm going to pop on my little green strip. Try not to do too much glue. So I'm kind of trying to build the layers as kind of I think they would be if you were building it out of wood. So I'll pop on the green bit. I can always my glue's a little bit squelchy. I can always come back with my adhesive eraser at the end if that bit's a bit sticky. Okay, and then I'm going to take the, oh, I should have stuck that down first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it back a little bit. And I'm going to pop that down with some liquid glue. So do as I say, not as I do. You shouldn't put the glue onto the bit that you're sticking onto. You should put the glue on the bit that you're sticking on. Okay, like that, and then I'll just trim up that edge with my snips, with my lovely charms from the lovely Ellie. So we'll just trim that up around that edge, just like that. There we go, that's looking better. Squidged off a little bit, needed to press a little bit longer. And then I'll tidy up that other side as well, just to make sure we're all nice and neat. Like so. Okay, so there's my little birdhouse, and then let's stick this on. Don't try and brush. So I think I'm going to go or aim for a nice even border. I contemplated for a second then putting it wonky, but I don't think my brain can cope with that. So this is my card base, and then I've got my little birdhouse, and we'll grab, I've got some die cut pieces here. I had an evening at home on my own, and I spent the evening die cutting with dies from the Country Birdhouse, Unbounded Love and Flowers of Beauty. And I've got a whole stack of die cut pieces that I can just grab for to add on to whatever project I'm making. Just spent the evening die cutting, but it was very cathartic, and now I've got a ton of things that are ready to go. So I'm going to put my window panel, I'm just going to use a piece of Blackberry Bliss, and then I'm going to pop some dimensionals on my Birdhouse. Except I should have left the back on so I can decide on my positioning and the extra bits that I want to add. So I'm going to pop a few kind of close to that hole so that I can then add on my Blackberry Bliss circle. So we will take those ones off. So I've got those 4 around there, and then pop our little circle down, and then I'll load on the extra dimensionals for when I come to stick it down in a minute while I'm here. So like I said, this isn't going through the post, so I'm not worried about there kind of being multiple layers of dimensionals. So here's my lovely little birdhouse. Here's my lovely little bird that I think I'm going to kind of sit here, and actually I might trim round him a little bit just to get rid of some of that white space. And then when I've done that, I'll go around with a blend just to colour in any leftover white edges. It's actually a really nice image for fussy cutting. Nice and simple. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain, it is absolutely pouring. Which I think is going to be the weather for the whole weekend. I don't know what you guys are up to this weekend. Maybe you could leave me a comment and let me know. We have got my in-laws coming to stay this weekend, so that will be nice. We've got some things planned, but the weather's supposed to be quite rubbish. So not the best timing, but never mind, I'm sure we'll have a lovely time regardless. There we go. So I've trimmed off most of that white space, and then I'm just going to go around the edge just with my bronze blend, just to get rid of any of that kind of residual bit of white. I'm not kind of wanting to hold it on for too long, because otherwise we'll end up with kind of really dark patches. I'd actually probably have been better doing this with a Stampin' Right marker rather than the alcohol marker, but never mind, there we go. And then I've gone to the trouble of colouring in his little feet, but I think I'm going to tuck him under so it's like he's standing in the little tray like that. And then, right, so let's think about my sentiment. So this is going to be a birthday card, so I could go with hoping you have the best day ever, but I do really like the happy birthday. But then that's a nice happy, it's got a nice happy birthday in it as well. Let's stick with the country birdhouse. So that would look quite cute on one of those. It's about the right kind of size. So let's grab a block and then decide which colour I want to go for. I do feel like maybe I should have gone with the soft sea foam instead of the old olive, and then that could have been quite nice. I actually quite like it with the kind of tone on tone. Maybe we'll go with that. And then I'm going to stamp my happy birthday. Whoops! A piece of cardstock's alive. So bring back in my Stampin' Pierce mat. Let's just make sure that I'm happy with that. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to go for copper clay. I feel like the black would be a little bit too harsh, I think. I haven't got any other black on the card. Oh, I need to move that dimensional over a little bit. So, sorry, my head was probably in shot then. Aiming for nice and central and nice and straight. Perfect. Happy birthday. Okay, so let's just fix my visible dimensionals. What I could do is just shimmy it over a little bit. Like that. There we go. Perfect. So there's that, and then I've got my happy birthday ready, and then I think I'm going to bring in some flowers to decorate. So let's start putting this together, or carry on putting it together I should say. Let's move my mat out of the way. So I know that I'm going to want my sentiment down here at the bottom. So my birdhouse is going to go about there. Peel off the backs. Gosh, I wish I'd brought a coat down to the office. It's absolutely pouring. I'm going to get very wet on my way back to the house. But never mind, never mind. The garden will be very glad we haven't had... Oh, there's thunder. Very loud thunder. I don't think Penny will be enjoying that. Our lovely little dog is not a fan of thunder. So just pop a little bit of liquid glue on my little bird. And then I'm carefully going to tuck in his little feet. Pop him on. Then when I die cut, where is it? Oh, actually, I've just remembered about my labels. I might do one of those instead. When I die cut my birdhouse, I don't know what I've done with it. I cut out the little brown circles. Aha, there. So when you cut out the hole, it cuts out like a little washer and then a little dot. And the little dot is the right size to be the little peg on the birdhouse. It's just so cute. So I'm going to, again, do as I say, not as I do, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on there. And then sometimes with little fiddly bits, it's easier to just pop the glue where you want it. What do we think? Do I want that one instead of that one? I don't know. I'm going to stamp it and see. If in doubt, stamp it. Oh, I do quite like that. Let's go with that one. And then I've got a happy birthday ready to go for another project. So I think I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals, and then I'm going to add some flowers. And I might bring in a couple of gems from the Nest of Winter suite, which is not available for customers yet. But if you registered for Creativity Now as a demonstrator, you were able to pre-order the Nests of Winter suite, which will be coming in the Autumn Winter catalogue. I did show all of the products from that suite in my previous unboxing video, so do go back and check that out for the full range of products. So I will be bringing you some projects with that soon, but I'm going to hold off just a little bit because the products aren't available for you guys yet. So I think I'm going to go for some of these. And then what colours do we want? Let's go for a petunia pop. Is that a bit too kitschy? Might be a bit too kitschy. I feel like I want to bring in some other colours, but I'm not really sure what. Maybe we'll just go with that little flower combination and some gems and call it done. So normally I've got my rounded end of a pokey tool. I'll just use my finger and the palm of my hand, give it a little squidge to just get some dimension. And then I'm going to do the same again with the small one, just giving that a little bit of dimension, a little bit of liquid glue to put them together, and then I'm going to attach it with a mini glue dot. So I'm kind of staggering the petals like that. And then let me pop on with a little glue dot. We'll add some gems. Gosh, I'm sure you can hear the rain now. It is absolutely lashing it down. So these are the gems from the Nests of Winter Sweet. These are called the Earth Tone Shimmer Gems, and they're like they're as sparkly as the In Colour Shimmer Gems. So I think colour-wise, I think it's copper clay, garden green, and then I'm not sure if it's the ivory or if it's basic beige. I'm not sure. In fact, it might be both. Okay, so just going to add, I might put a little one in the centre of that flower, like that. I feel like it needs a bit more, but then I don't know if I'm overdoing it. No, I think I'll leave it with just the one. So let's just shuffle all of these bits and bobs out of the way. So there we are. There's the card for today. So lovely birthday card in the petunia pop with the Country Birdhouse bundle. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Take care. Bye.